Hey YouTube, wiring again. This should only take 5 minutes. So I'm actually going to, this is kind of partly to time it. Okay, I had a wee bit for talking. Got this very nice, I think we said it was a 97 American Fender Stratocaster. Have you heard of it? And this here is a 1997 American Fender Stratocaster. So what my pal Jim wants is, he wants me to swap the scratch plates over because this one has, one of them has bare knuckle pickups in it and the other one doesn't. So he tried to sell one of them with the bare knuckle pickups and no one's interested, so he wants me to swap the two scratch plates over. So it should be really easy. There are yeah, one of the joys of locking tuners, which this has, is you generally when you tune these things down, you know, so I can get the scratch plate off. I don't know whether they're going to tune down enough to get the strings floppy enough to get the scratch plate off without. So I might have to take the strings out of this, and then trying to poke the strings back through. I mean, they don't. This is a wee bit old actually. I'll see what happens. I'll see how I get on. See if I can get the scratch plate off without. There might be enough play in it. There might be, otherwise I've got to take the strings out and then put the strings back in, through, which is much easier to do when they're not all bent and twisted like they will be now. Yep, so I'm just going to take the scratch plate off this one and put it on the other one basically. So stage one, I suppose, is stage one is putting the drill, the battery in the drill. I could just be using a screwdriver, so you just have to listen to the noise of me taking out these screws. Okay, these are American screws, so they're I don't want to chew the heads up on them, so they're going to have to come out manually. So I'm going to have to talk during it. I bet you American screws are more expensive to buy than Mexican screws or Chinese screws, but if you're gonna go full Fender USA, then you got to go full Fender USA. So I'm thinking, one of the problems, as soon as he said, you know, I've got two strats, I want you to swap the scratch plates over, I thought, oh, that sounds easy. It does. I mean, everyone's tried it, but the thing is, see, if you've got a Squire and something else, scratch plates might not fit. Or even if you've got a Squire from 1 year and then a Squire from 5 years before it, they might not fit. Quite often you've got to cut round about the neck pocket and or move, you know, even route behind it to get the pickup to fit in properly, because things are different sizes, or even more commonly, one of the big differences when you're buying these online is you can buy the American one, which has, is it 11 holes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 holes, and Squires don't have 11 holes. I can't remember whether they've got 12 or 10 or something like that. You know, it's just, so you sometimes have to, and the holes might not necessarily be in the right place, and if it's an expensive guitar like this, I wouldn't be wanting to drill holes in the guitar. Obviously, if you've ever taken the top off a Buckycaster, it's quite popular, quite common for there to be holes next to where the ones are. Oh, this one's got a 22nd fret overhang on it as well, just to make things that little bit more difficult. So I'm going to have to undo the strings and then try and poke them in later on, which is going to be a nightmare, but I've got to do it. So these have just all got to, I suppose the thing with these is they're not going to entangle themselves with each other because they don't have the spinny bits at the end. That's a technical term, the spinny bits thing. Just in case you wonder, you know, do something. If the tendency to think, oh, this is just dead easy, I know exactly what I'm doing, it's only going to take 5 minutes, and it doesn't take 5 minutes. I've noticed that before, you know, when it's like someone says, oh, I'll just get a wire off and scratch on the Hey YouTube, quite annoyed about that. I was just, what I just said there in this video, we're 5 minutes into the video, and I just said, oh, I was really annoyed. I did videos this week and the mic wasn't working. Looked to see if the mic was working, the mic wasn't working. Ugh. So it's on now. So basically what I'm doing here is I've got two 97 American Strats. This one, and the one, and this one. And my pal wants me to swap the scratch plates over. So again, I'm just going to have to continue talking. I've already gone through the process of this one here has locking machine heads on it. Which means that there's no... If you undo it, you can't undo them floppy enough to get the scratch plate off. Now basically, there's 4 wires in here. This earth wire here is onto this screw, where this whole thing will be shielded, painted. This wire here goes through as an earth wire that goes onto the claw at the back of the tremolo. This wire here goes to the output jack, and there's one more wire to take off, and that's the hot output from the middle lug of the volume control. So I suppose I'll just be able to repeat myself, I suppose. And it's still, the mic is still working. I can't believe I forgot to check. I literally even... So that's it now done. So the scratch plate's only connected normally by 3 wires, but in this case, because there's this extra earth wire here. So basically, if you really wanted to, you could put all 3 black wires together, as long as they go to the back of one of the pots to earth. Earth is earth, and that's the output. So that's the scratch plate off that one. I suppose it's a little bit quicker. One of the things I said I was going to do, I was going to use it for this video to time how long it took me. Because, you know, you think, this is a really easy thing, this is only going to take 10 minutes. I bet you it doesn't take 10 minutes. I'm probably already 10 minutes in by the time I had to take those strings off. So I'm just going to loosen these off so I can get the scratch plate out. And I'm going to be constantly checking to make sure that mic's working. It's really annoying because I did a wee tester video. A wee 20-second go down, tested the mic, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Checked it, worked fine, came back on. Never thought of checking it again, and then it wasn't on. So there must be something slightly out. At least this one has, these strings are ancient, and there's only 5 of them. So I kind of want to try the... So as I said in that last one, there's an interesting thing. Does this one have it? This one doesn't. See that this bare knuckle. As I said, I can tell they're bare knuckles because they say bare knuckle on the back of them. It's got a dual level pot under this tone control, which is it's a center indent. So I'm not 100% sure what that does. Electrically it can't do very much. Where's that coming from? It looks like a tone pot for the bridge and middle, but why is it center indent? I'm not sure exactly what that is. It can't do anything super fancy. There must be a reason for it, because obviously a double stacked pot's worth more money, so it must be something, but it's not. There's a wee resistor there between. So why would you want it to go one way and go the other? So that's sending it to that resistor to earth. I don't know why you would do that. And then it said there will be a reason. I bet you it's something stupid. I bet you it's because that's how a 50 Strat was wired, rather than it having an actual reason. I was using the drill. I didn't use the drill to take these screws out because the drill bit's metric, and these are American screws. So these American screws will be imperial. So I get the impression these haven't come out for a while. These are an awful lot stiffer than they were on the other guitar. Let me just check the volume again. Both these guitars are very nice. It's not very often I've actually had much to do with the actual American ones. And as Jim was saying, it's like you see people going, "Oh, I've got an American Strat. It's just as good as the Mexican one," and it's like, I mean, the Mexican one I've got is just as good as the American one. It's like I'm not saying it's a massive and it's worth the money difference. That screw there's mangled, rusted solid. So this is what, 97 to say. So you know, I think he said he might have had this one new. He had one of them from new. It's a little bit. These screws are a wee bit on the rusty side. Oh, Could be issues actually. If you look there, you can't actually see. You see actually the scratch plates cracked behind them, started to go brittle. The real American quality. Oh. And I'm going to have to see how I can deal with that that one that's knackered. I think I'm going to poke it with a... I wonder if it's just been tightened up too much. So that's as far as I don't think this one's ever been in before. Right, so how am I going to get that screw there out? It's got no head on it. Where's my special implement tool? There. My special implement is a dart, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and scrape out some of the rust from the inside of it, so I can actually get the screwdriver in without... What I'd actually be tempted to do with this screw is use this screw for one of the ones somewhere else, because this is obviously the sweaty hand screw, and I'll choose not to think about the fact that this rust is created with metal and sweat. It's not a nice thing to think. So it's just what it's done is the rust's kind of corroded into where the screwdriver goes. So I'm hoping that this is enough to actually get a good grip on it. A good grip on it with the screwdriver. I'll put a heck of a lot of pressure down on it. Not wanting to come out. So here we go. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this video was just to make sure it wasn't going to be, you know, to say it's going to be easy, and it seems like an easy thing. It's never. Guitar, it's very much the same as working on a car, probably not as bad as working on a car. You know, I'll just take off those 4 bolts, which should be a very easy thing to do. Doesn't necessarily. I really don't want to drill it out, because that's just a whole other set of nightmares. See, I wonder if this screw's been tried to be taken out before. And I did say some of the other ones were quite rusty though, and a wee bit stiff. It's just one of those ones. It's so easy to crack the heads on these. I really want to try and get the screwdriver that fits it the absolute best I've got. Then put. Not doing it either. What a piss about. How do I put more pressure on it? I don't think put WD-40 in it's really going to do any good. I wonder if my green screwdriver's the one. Where's my green screwdriver? Is it going to grip it better? Nope. Hassle. I did buy one of those kits, you know, you get it kind of, you put it in a screwdriver and it's meant to grip it and turn it the other way, but it just doesn't seem to be working for this one. See, that is the right screwdriver. This might involve brute force and ignorance, putting as much downward pressure as I can on this while I'm turning it. Oh, come on. Oh. Well, the answer quite often is brute force. And, you know, obviously the comment saying is brute force and ignorance, but ignorance doesn't work. Because brute force and ignorance would just have taken the head off this screw. So it's still a bit alright. I'm still going to clean it out a little bit with this specialist piece of musical equipment. Get that as clean as I can, and I will be putting that screw as one of these ones down at the bottom of the scratch plate. I'll put that one slightly separate from the others. Right, so let's see what an American Strat looks like in below the scratch plate. Again, this has got the, you can't see, this has got the 22nd fret overhang, which makes it harder to get the bloody scratch plate out. There we go. 1, 2, and we turn it round. There we go, that's a bit more normal looking. So that one's still got the original switch in it, because it looks the same as that, and these two pots look the same, but it's got the extra thing on there. And again, here's your, I don't know what N stands for. You can actually see the well, you can see the shielding paint in this one as opposed to the other guitar, because this one's not been painted. This has been varnished, and there's a you could keep, I don't know, like something in there. I think what you, that'd be almost the perfect size for a fruit pastel you could keep in that hole. And you could, if you wanted to smuggle a fruit pastel, although obviously it could be, oh, I don't know, what, drugs, explosives, something like that. I bet you I've got to, I hope I don't have to demonetize this. It was only a joke. Don't demonetize me, YouTube, for talking about such illicit things. Fruit pastels are perfectly legal in the UK, and as far as I'm aware, there's no restrictions on taking them to mainland Europe or China. I'm not sure about America, you know, or anything like that. So I'm basically just going to take off these wires, which you can put somewhere you can actually see. Just using the soldering iron, which I will definitely not be leaving on, and then setting fire to the carpet again, like that. And as I suspected, I cut the last one, so I'm going to cut this one as well, because this is one wire that runs through here and then joins to the earth of this one, and then joins to the earth of this one. So if I just cut that, then that's fine. It doesn't need to be one wire. I do that sometimes. Just make up. I'll see if I cut that halfway through. It means I've still got enough there. And then before I forget, I will just put that wire back on again. It doesn't make it down. That's the one that goes to the thing, so that's got to come off as well. Anyway, I'll take that one off. Yep, that's fine. So there's 2 wires off, 3 wires off, and if I take this one off, booyah. Oh, yep. So that's it. Just 3 wires going into a scratch plate. Well, 4 in this one. On the inside, there's your that's what American. So these will be is it mean they're Alico magnets? They don't have fridge magnets stuck on the back. They don't actually say made in America on the back of them, which you would have thought. There's a piece of a string in there. Have a wee look at it while we're in. I'll probably give these a squish with contact cleaner just because I've got the guitar to bits. And you see they're only using one tone cap. Sometimes you can, tone caps are not expensive, but I mean, even on an American Strat, I mean, I don't know what an American Strat costs, thousands of pounds. I would have thought, that's annoying me. If that screw's going to come out easily, what I'm going to watch this. Where's my blue? Is this one going to fit? Yeah, I'll do it. It's see, you get this a lot with guitars. They put the plastic film on the scratch plate before. That's what that wee hole was for. You put screws in it earlier. But the plastic film that's on the scratch plate when it's new stays on, which means you can it's not the best place to put that. You need a screwdriver to get it out. So these are just wee things I tend to do. I normally give it a wee wipe in below there so there's no marker in it. It just means that it's not, see if that one looks kind of a bit fuzzy and crap, just because it's got that wee bit of plastic which was put on before the switch was put in. Stop it getting scratched in the factory. So I'm going to do that as well. The problem is, see now I've started doing that, I've noticed it's done that pickup's the same. All I'm doing here is taking the screw out, picking off the wee bit of plastic, giving it a bit of a rub, putting the screw back in again. This is not highly technical stuff. You get it a lot with Squires and old guitars, especially when, well, this is what I say, 97. So, you know, 25 years that bit of plastic's been sitting there. So I'm going to do the same with this pickup. I'm going to take out this screw if it wants to come out. Why does it not want to come out? Okay, it is. These are held on with, instead of springs, see that sort of orange rubbery surgical tubing type stuff. So I might even be able to just pick this one out without actually having to undo the thing completely. It just makes the guitar look that bit better when you get just be crappy bits of plastic. Even on, as I said, even on an American Strat, it's there, and then where's my grotty cloth? I'll give this a bit of a clean while I'm in here. Probably better doing this before I put it into the other guitar, but right, so I'll give that a bit more of a wipe before I put it in. So this is the scratch plate for the blonde guitar. This is the bare knuckle scratch plate from the other guitar, and before I'm going to connect anything up, I'm just going to double check and make sure it's exactly the same size. It should be. See, these are actually routed for 2 humbuckers if you really wanted. Again, for problems, you've got to slide it under there. So there we go. And I would say all the screw holes look like they line up, not an issue. That's fine. It was worth checking. Right, so to connect it up, we have 3 earth wires and a hot. I think I'll do the hot first, just because it's the hot, and that goes to the middle lug of the volume control right there. So if I get my tweezers and my soldering iron, which I'm not going to leave on so I don't set fire to the carpet, just going to solder this into this hole. Bang. I'm not having to actually put solder in this because there's plenty of solder already on the wires. If you're doing it for the first time, or if there's any issues, definitely put solder on the top. Just make sure there's as long as there's definitely enough there. Yeah, that's fine. It's solid, right? Then these two. It doesn't matter where. You can put these on any earth, as long as it's whatever it is, it's earth. Just putting them in the back of the volume pot with it. But there's already blobs of solder there where I took the wires off the other guitar. That's all right. And then one more. This one. Oh, I want to say thanks to Stuart, Chaos 1954, for the wonderful presents. He dropped them off at Blitzkrieg shop for me. In fact, I'll show you them now. I'm going to turn that soldering iron off. Just getting paranoid about when I burnt a hole in the carpet. Right, out of the way. Wire, like a good size wire for wiring, miles of it. Oh. Another roll of wire, a slightly thicker wire, probably more of an earth wire, but tons of that as well. So I'm not going to have to buy wire again. Rockin' super duper. They also gave me PFTE tape and what was the other thing? Another roll of solder, which I've not even tried yet. But I mean, I'm assuming solder. This stuff. What's that? Alpha Fry Technologies. 2.2 core. Lead-free solder wire. That should keep me going. The reason I've never really bought the big rolls, although I do have a big roll there that I got off Scott, is in case I bought the wrong stuff. To be honest, that's the same reason with wire. It all goes back to see when I bought the heat shrink cable bag. All different types of heat shrink cable. No, it wasn't. It was wires I bought. I bought guitar wires and I didn't read the advert properly. Bought guitar wires and they were all really thin and about 2 inches long, and it was just like... So I'm always not wanting to buy a big roll of wire in case it's too thin or too thick, and then end up with useless. Yep, so that's all in and working. I said I was going to give everything a quick scoosh with a electrical contact cleaner, Rapide or you could use Seversol, which is more expensive, but it's just the same stuff. Just going to give it all a wee blast, just to make sure that it's all clean and working free. Let's go done. I don't think these were scratchy to start with, but I mean, oh no, you've cleaned things that weren't dirty. That's okay. And then this one with the indent. I'm going to have to put this. I might have to put another string on this just to make it. Well, he's going to put new strings on it anyway, so I'll let him clean it. And again, here's the thing about trying to put it in and then make sure the wires are all poked in enough. You want to make sure it's sitting flush. What I'm doing here is I'm poking these in just to make sure that you don't want to get wires trapped between the scratch plate and the body, because then it doesn't sit flat. So make sure it sits perfectly flat. See, something's stopping it. What's stopping it? I don't think we're there. I think we're there. I said that lined up absolutely perfectly, but it's in there, close enough. I kind of want to. Where's my cleaning toothbrush? Just a wee bit manky in there, but it's already in. I'm sure part of the fun in doing these things up to sell, clean them. Right. So here is the crappy rusty screw, which I'm going to put here, and just so it's. I'm not going to actually put it all the way in crazy, so it's not tight. This one's not going in. This is the one that I just had problems with. So I'm just going to put that in enough, but not all the way in, so there's a chance it's going to come out again later on. And then return all these other screws. And I'm that confident with my soldering work, I'm going to put all these screws in without testing to make sure the guitar works, because it's going to work. Okay, I've shot it. I'm going to turn the amp on and then make sure it's working. I'm 99% sure it's going to be working. So, but and all I did was connect 3 wires. I didn't actually check to make sure these guitars worked before I did anything. So, come on, wait till the amp warms up. Yep. So this is the bridge pickup. Nothing. This one. There's these two. Just the middle one. Middle and neck. Neck. Right, this tone is for the neck. It doesn't do the bridge. It doesn't do the middle. It does do the middle. From the indent down, it does the middle. So I'm wondering, does it do the bridge from the... So I don't know what that dual pot thing does or is for. It will do something. I think it's probably that's how a 1952 Stratocaster was wired or something. So it's like a replica of that. I can't think really of any reason why. I don't know, people in the comments will be like, oh my god, I can't believe you don't know what that does. It's pure obvious. It might make a noticeable difference when you're when there's strings on, you're playing a note, but when you're tapping the poles with a screwdriver to make sure it's on, you can generally tell, when if a tone control is working, because it goes, it's a sort of bright tapping sound down to a dull tapping sound, but you can't actually tell musically what it's doing when you're doing that. Maybe once it's in tune and stuff. I think I'm actually going to probably end up doing a demo of this guitar with 5 strings on it. I'm trying to think. I know I was looking for a high E string the other day. I wonder if I've got an old one that would fit. The guitar itself's been sitting. The fretboard's quite dirty. Jim was very apologetic. Oh, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to do it up. Obviously, I'm going to clean it and restring it and stuff. So I'm not doing that in this video. It just goes to show how just wee things like, I mean, I get held up 10 minutes with that rusty screw. You know, you never know. And it's like, the thing is with doing this as well is see, working on a really expensive guitar is much easier to work on. Generally, those things like bad, screws that are a bit crap and all that stuff, you get that much more on a lot of the other guitars I'm working on. Not so much the old Japanese ones because they're quite high quality. More, the sort of cheaper guitars, they basically just end up being, they corrode more because they're made of cheaper metal. So a lot of the, I'm sure he knows what he's doing here. I don't want to do too much. I'd be tempted to make sure that the tuners were tight. They kind of, maybe adjust that one a wee bit. Alright. And I would normally do a fret cleaning as well, just with the fret rubber, which is a very handy thing. No, I've not been specifically asked to do it, but generally every time you change strings, unless the strings are pure, the frets are pure spanky new, quick run over with the fret rubber just makes them a bit shinier, makes them a wee bit nicer. Oh, there you go. See, half an hour and I've not even finished yet. So it's, so I can't really charge him a tenner. That's what's the word? Unviable. That when there's a bit loose, that's actually getting the wee screw on the top of these. You see, on these they're actually flathead screws. There's a tension bolt, so this one's a bit loose. So if I just tighten it up a wee touch till it gets a bit better. Now it's one of the things with these Gotoh ones. It's not normally a Phillips head screw. But just, wee things, fixing up all these wee biddly things, just make the guitar just better at the end. Small amounts, but all good. See, it's got the roller trees I like as well. These ones. If you're going to buy roller trees, which guitar was it? I was looking at one the other day that I'd put the cheap ones on. Not in here. I think it was my Thunderbird. My Firebird, and they're just you can get Chinese ones that look like that, and when I say they're more expensive, if you're building 100 guitars it might make a difference, but I mean the cheapy roller ones, which are kind of more like a wee block with it looks like it's got sort of dumbbell weights on it, they're like, I don't know, £1 or something, and ones that are that shape are like £2. But these are much better. I think they look quite cool as well. I do think they're going the wrong way though. I mean, when I say they're going the wrong way, I mean, this is the way Fender installs them. But for me, I don't know, just looking at them, for me I think they should kind of come this way. So they're taking the... But I'm sure people who know, people who built the guitar know more than me, so there'll be a reason why they're that way around. Okay, so guitar 1 done. Now to put the original scratch plate back into this one. You never saw me taking this to bits because of just me panic looking at the volume control, the mic input again. Right, while we're in here, I'm just going to give this a quick, the bits that you can't actually get to, just while I'm here, which I just don't think about this being sweat and grot and stuff. So even in not that older guitar, you can actually see, there's quite the difference in colour. You probably can't there because it's stupid light on it. It's definitely a brighter blue and a more subdued blue where the air's been at it. I wonder is that actually going to just... What do you mean you're using switch cleaner for that? Just because switch cleaner's lying there. Could you use water? Something to just clean it up a wee bit. Made it a wee bit nicer. Yep, right, I'll just do the same with this. This is the one with a bit of plastics. Everything else kind of looks okay. I will give all this stuff a bit of a scoosh just anyway. This is not really the way I work in the kitchen though. The kitchen is, oh my god, it's so minging. I can't eat in here anymore. I'll clean it. It's not. Oh, maybe a little bit. It looks kind of all right. I'll clean it anyway. I'm not going to be wiping down no countertops that look all right. No, they've got to look. Oh my god, what diseases am I going to get off this? Then I'll clean them. Oh, that should be quite easy. Oh, why are there screws there? There you go. Yet another pointless thing, or maybe someone could explain why this has a. Can you actually see them? Yeah, there's a big, two big Phillips head screws going into the back of this bridge pickup. I wonder why. Who's to know? I wonder what R stands for. It's always tempting. I do it sometimes, to be honest. I'm not going to do it in this one, seeing as you're watching me, but I do tend to sometimes write a wee rude message with a Sharpie. Never pure offensive. Just minor if it's bum. Just write something amusing in there. While I'm in. I snipped this wire off. I'm just gonna take a wee bit of. And don't ever use a Stanley blade without a knife. That's a stupid thing. You'll cut your fingers. Come on, stupid, annoying little bit of wire that doesn't want to release its plastic coating. That's enough. Because like on the other guitar, it was the same wire that came out the back. Oh, I'll try the new solder. Stuart's new solder, see what it's like. Not that I've really ever come across solder that isn't good, but... Past the first test, it melts. Oh. No. I think it's this cable has got like an older style rubbery wetsuit type coating on it, some sort of neoprene, because it smells a little bit like a wetsuit. I was like, oh, wetsuit, good. As opposed to just smelling like melted plastic, so it might actually be rubber rather than plastic. Again, I'm just going to, it doesn't really matter how this goes on as long as it goes on solid. I could try and poke that through the hole in the, well, I'll try and poke it through anyway, just for professionalism. Clean it up a wee bit. Try and poke it through the actual hole in the lug. There you go. Like that. Really annoying. I think it's Mexican ones. Obviously, when they wire these things up, what they do is the person in the factory puts a wire on and then twists it round, and then they just go with the solder, which is really annoying because it's dead hard to, you can't get the wire off without cutting it because it's all. And these basically all just go to earth anywhere. So this one I'll put onto earth here to try and keep it as neat as I can. Well, good enough. Yep, nice and neat. There's earth wire one number 2. I'll put onto this one because that'll make it look better. And I think I've lost earth wire 3 at the present moment, but I'll find it. And I'm trying to poke these in the sort of rough direction of where they'll be going once the thing's upside down. I've got there's not another wire in there. Aha, see? That much of a pro. I noticed that. And that would have made a difference, that one. It could be argued that I'm not sure you would notice any difference with the, you know, that earth wire, because that's just the shielding, so you're not going to notice, oh, maybe, is there 1% more interference or whatever it is? Could be that, whereas if you don't connect up the one that goes to the back, you're not earthing it with your fingers. This one I suppose a wee bit easier to put on because I had to take the strings off this. Again, slide it in, slide it under. All sitting flat. All sitting flat. There's definitely no wires stuck between the scratch plate and the body. Yep, there we go. Yep, so just re-screw in all these screws again. And these are nicer screws. I wonder if Jim can always swap them over without, you know, without taking into bits. You could just swap over the screws one at a time and it'll be fine. These screws are newer. I don't think these are the or maybe the other guitar was his favourite one and got played an awful lot more. These ones are nice and shiny. I mean, even to be honest, I'm pretty sure if you actually went to the point of buying new American genuine, you know, £1 for 50 genuine Chinese screws, or probably £1 for the 11 you need of genuine American screws, I wouldn't really. It's up to you. I need to buy another bag of them. They're not expensive if you buy. Just buy them. I just buy them on the slow boat from China. Scratch plate screws. Don't use like B&Q screws in a guitar though. They always look shit. You can pure tell it immediately. Especially when you're me, looking at a guitar and immediately I can spot, you know, posi drive heads and you're like, don't use them or your hardware store ones. Wood screws. No, use the proper ones. They're not expensive. And you're not allowed to say, oh, I bought a guitar off you that I would screw in it. Yes, it probably did, but do what I do. Do what I say, not what I do. So I might even do another video tonight. Scott's starting to feel better from his COVID. He's like, he wants me to give him a drop off at his door somewhat. So I said, I want you to do a video just complaining about how bad COVID was. And he's like, up here, if you're passing, like, why would I be passing? He's cool, right? But I'm going to drop in some guitars for him. He's like, so did you put that funny switch in his Jim Deacon? It's like, what? Never mentioned anything about no funny switch in your Jim Deacon. That just to make it sound better, so I'm going to put a switch in it. I'm going to put in a humbucker switch. The annoying thing is I made it up the last time I did it, and I'm pretty sure I remember what it was it did. I just can't remember how it did it. What it did was I'm sure it's in a bucket caster. Maybe I watched. No. This is the one that's got oh no, I've just done that. Locking tuners. So I actually had to take the string off to put the scratch plate on. But as I knew this was going to happen. They don't like the strings don't like going back in again unless they're brand new. Well, it kind of looks a bit like a ball bearing. Is that? Is it specially designed? Are these actually going to go back in again? Where's the thin string? Will the thin string do it? You know, I think, do you not get some of these that... This is so flippin' fidgety. No, what I'm trying to do is put this tiny wee bit of string that says... There's nothing else in the way, is there? No. Into this hole, but it's so thin and annoying. Oh, I got it in. Ugh. Yeah, so that's how the way a locking tuner works. If you've never seen one, is you can see the hole. See the hole in the tuner there. When you tighten up this bolt on the back, there's like a shaft that runs up the inside and holds it on. The idea being that you don't need to wrap the string round the post anymore, which is quicker, and it means that you don't need to wait until the string's properly stretched. Put them on if you want. You know, I suppose it's a selling point. That interests me. I think Jim was actually talking about putting them on the other guitar. So as I said, I'm not setting up any of these. I'll just, because I wasn't asked to. This one actually is missing the second roller thing. I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure that makes not any difference. You do kind of need that one, but I don't think you need that one. It doesn't look like it's been. It looks like it's been filled in though, as opposed to just having fallen off. No, so these are all going in okay. I'm going to be able to put these on right up until that E string, which was giving me jip earlier on. So there you go. I mean, it's like, it does seem like a very small thing, but doing these things for the first time, I've said this a few times, but basically I definitely think what you should be doing is buying like a 50 quid Encore or something. Don't get like a pure shitter of a guitar, but get one that's alright, and then learn to do all these things, you know, when you're sitting messing about with stuff. Don't do it on your £1,000 Strat for the first time, in case you fuck it up. Right, this is the one that I couldn't get in. Go in there, you bastards. Yay! Oh, rock and roll. Rock and roll. I didn't check to make sure this guitar worked. Oh, this is the one with the... No, it's not. This is the one with the standard, not the normal American pickups in it. So it's the other one. I'll have to try and see what that extra tone pot does. When I say check to make it work, I actually meant I was going to tap it with the screwdriver, but I've just plugged it into the tuner, and the tuner's responding, so... All I did was connect, 2-3 wires, so 4 wires. There wasn't really much you could get wrong. Although I have seen people get that wrong. One of my favourite ones was, I don't think the wiring's quite right, it's like, and it was a Swift Les Paul. If you sold me that, you sold me that. It was a blonde one, it wasn't expensive. So I don't think the wiring's right, and I looked at it, and basically every wire in the guitar was all soldered onto one lug of one of the volume controls. It's like, oh, you don't think it's right? You think there should be wires going to the other knobs, not every single wire in the guitar going to one knob. But there's another one for you, Swift guitars. They're on my don't bother list. I did manage to get that Swift Les Paul working. It took a shitload of work just to get it playing. It's like, okay, the wiring was wrong, but wiring's an easy thing to fix. But just messing about with the neck and the frets, and basically just made of rubbish wood. Badly. I didn't sell it for very much money. I sold it for 50 or 60 quid or something like that, which is alright. You're getting a guitar that plays, but even then, didn't feel that happy about selling it. I don't like selling things that don't work or aren't that good. Basically, if you buy a guitar off me for like a £5 or something, yeah, okay, it might be pure shit. But I will tell you, it's like, that's why it's a £5. I'm not going to sell you a good guitar for a £5. I'm going to sell you one that you could burn or smash up in a video type thing. But again, we come back to that original one with the Iron Brew guitar that I smashed up, because it kind of looked alright. I just didn't want that to go back into circulation. Okay, I'm selling it for a tenner to smash it up. And maybe the guy who bought it off me, or whoever it was that bought it off me, would have known that it was shit and then used it to smash it up, hang it in the wall. But maybe it would have ended up a couple of folk down the line that some kid gets it for Christmas. Oh, I really like an electric guitar. Here you go, an electric guitar. It looks really good. And it was just shit. And it's one of those ones you would never actually learn to play if you had a guitar that bad. So I didn't feel happy with it at all. I think my leads might need resoldered actually. I keep hearing that on my lead. Oh. And the way to do this is use a different lamp. Spray your contact cleaner on the lead, then push it in a couple of times. Don't just spray it into the hole. Put it onto the lead and put it in. Very nice. So that was one guitar working. Let's see if I can work out what this this funny tone pot is on this guitar. This is only got 5 strings. So. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's my lead. Not working particularly well. I just like it because it's. But this is the difference with the bare knuckles. That's to tone it. I don't think it's doing anything on that pickup. Here's the tone for that one. So in the middle pickup. Totally, that's the tone control. Right, that's it. At the indent. Doing something. Bridge pickup. Right, what I think that that fancy tone pot is, I think it's not called a no load tone pot. I know that Scots American Strat has a thing where it actually, see when you put the tone up to maximum, it's got like an indent at the very top. I think that's what this is doing. So I think if you put it in the indent in the middle, that's it basically like a normal tone control's off. And then if you turn it down, there's your normal tone control. But if you turn it up to the full, I think it kind of bypasses it entirely. So you just don't, it doesn't have any effect in the circuit at all. That's what I think that does. In the right situation, it does make a difference. You know, if the hottest sound you can get out of a pickup is pickup straight onto the output jack. Putting a volume control on, even when the volume control's at full, it's not letting 100% through at full. And if you put a tone on, it doesn't let 100% through. It's small amounts, but just the brightness. So it is. There is, I mean, it's noticeable with the tone control. You know, if you've got a tone control up at full, as in at 10, so it's not doing anything, and you put a switch on it to actually just so it either sends it to the tone control, which is completely off, or completely bypasses it, there is a slight difference. I did it before. What was it? And my pal Alan wanted a kind of a passive boost circuit, and it's like, no, you can't have a passive boost, because the only way you can boost it is to apply electricity. So it's not passive, it's active. Is the only way you can put a boost in. But what I did do was put in a switch that bypassed the volume and the tone. So it just put the bridge, it was an HSS, I think. It just put the bridge pickup straight to the output jack, and you know, it just bypassed everything, and it did make a difference. My thinking was, what you could do is, if you set your volume at 9 on the guitar, for example, and played away, and then hit this switch, bang, it would put it up to 10, which, you know, it does. You know, so you could easily have a switch, so you could set whatever sound you want, and it's like whenever you hit this switch, it just bypasses all the settings that you've made and just puts it super. Yamaha used to use it called a blower switch, but even when you had, say, like on whatever in this guitar, it was if you had the volume at 10, the tone at 10, and you were bridge pickup selected, playing away through quite a loud amp and stuff, and then you flip the bypass switch, it did have a bit of a not a boost, but effectively a boost, just takes out the resistance or the capacitance. There's less in the circuit, so more of the signal, but not an awful lot. But just at that, right at the point where it kind of makes that wee it's best if you're using like a valve amp distortion, just a wee bit more, can just make a bit of a difference. Haven't done a guitar with that boosting in it for myself, actually. I need to do it at some point. Try and mess about with it. Yeah, so there you go, Jim. Both your guitars done. Relatively easy. Bastard screw. Hey, that's the one. If you're going to buy a new screw, that's the one there. But I didn't put it all the way in, so it should be okay for getting it back out again. This guitar is beautiful. I suppose I'll be doing a video, but here, look at we've done this thing. Ash, you can tell it's a 2-piece if you look there. You can see the join with this piece and this piece. Also looks kind of bookmarked. Is it a join? Yes. You can't really tell looking at the top of it though. You can see it there, see there? The join machine, so it's a 2-piece ass body, but I mean, it's stunning. I mean, yes, I've got Ash guitars. Yes, I've seen other ones. It's like when it's actually like an expensive American one. The Mexican one, they don't look like this. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if the Japanese ones do. I've never seen a really nice Japanese ones. Mine are all beat up, but it is very nice. So it's got the micro tilt neck thing on it, I think. I don't think that's not the truss rod. And what I said, see when you're looking, if it's an American Fender made in the USA Stratocaster, and you check the serial number, it all works. See this bit here? This fillet on an American Strat, that's wood, walnut like that. Whereas on it'll be the same on this one. See, it's got it's a walnut fillet. On a Mexican one, it's plastic. The way of telling it, this will be just a one-piece neck. It is indeed. This is a really nice guitar. I think he's actually selling this when I was wanting a guitar. This one looks absolutely stunning. He said something about not keeping maybe swapping the tuners over and keeping them in his other guitar, but I'd be quite happy with. Yeah, it's not Clausen style on it anyway, so it'd be dead easy to get replacement tuners, normal ones. It's very nice. Oh, I think there's a way of telling as well. I think certainly for a long time, the 22nd fret was only on American Strats, whereas the Mexican one's only 21. As you can see, it's just got a slight overhang, so the neck's the same size. It's just you can see the fretboard, or in this case, the neck, if it had a fretboard, extends slightly over to get an extra fret in. To be honest, that wouldn't really bother me. Yeah, okay, having an extra fret, I'd rather have it than not have it, but it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. It's like, okay, vintage correct, only has 21 frets, but having an extra would be nice. I'm just looking there, my Blazer's only got 21, the Roadster's got 22, the FGN's got 22, my Japanese Strats only get 21, the RG 530's got 24, that Japanese Strat's got 21. That guitar there, the Conrad, which I was going to do a video on today, but get sidetracked, which actually kind of looks a bit similar to that, colour-wise, but it's really, I thought it looked amazing. It's like, it looks really good, and then when you actually compare it to it doesn't look like that, though. You know, it's a shame, but it just doesn't. Yeah, so this video is well long enough, and the mic is still working, thank God. Rocking, I'll catch you later, and maybe we get some solo videos from Scott when I drop these what's in the bags things. I'm trying to send him something pure horrible. He wants his Jim Deacon back. It's not horrible, no, but he wants to finish setting it up and sell it. I'll probably give him the pink Jim Deacon bass, and I think something else that is mine that I just, so that he can work on it and make it work. Something that I lost interest in, I don't know, or something that, so pure, here, have this, and it's like pure manky. You'll enjoy cleaning it up, Scott. I'm sure you're like, it's like pure. So it's got to be something really weird though as well. Somebody's going to go, what the fuck? Yeah. Rock on.